The Box Seat, brought to you by our stable of sponsors. Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of Your Box Seat. Yes, it is carnival time and it really felt like it yesterday, Michael Guerin at Ashburton. What a day it was, the times they ran, the quality of horse we had on the track. It was something to behold.
Yeah, hi Greg, big hi to everybody watching around Australasia. It was a ripper of a day, wasn't it? I think it goes to prove the best version of harness racing is when you put the good races back to back to back to back, keep people's attention. Didn't mind it on a Monday, Greg. If you run the same meeting on a Saturday with the interruptions of the races in between for the gallops, not sure it would have been quite so much fun. Well done to everybody involved, beautifully covered on trackside. Greg, it made me excited about New Zealand Cup week, but I'm going to need to stretch that out a bit because it's a week later this year. Usually you think Ashburton, Kaikoura, New Zealand Cup. We've got an extra week for that countdown, and after all the pieces on the chessboard have moved around, I think the winner's going to be the Kaikoura Cup. I wasn't so sure about a month ago. It looks like it's going to have the cup lead up for the season. It's going to be a beauty next Monday. Yeah, looking forward to that, Michael. That'll be part of today's show. So what can you look forward to? We'll get to the very important headliner there, the Katie Cox fundraiser, very shortly. We'll go to Ashburton from yesterday. Akuta, absolutely devastating he was in the flying stakes. We'll continue our preview of the IRT New Zealand Cup. Muscle Mountain did it for Dobby. And of course his colours to the fore in the two big features. IRT, we get an update on their flights. Of course Phil Williamson got his first Hambo, and Artie's Express was nothing short of sensational. Before we get into all of that though, Michael, a really trying time for a young lady in our industry. Her name is Katie Cox. Of course, she's been diagnosed with a very rare form of cancer, but at this time, as we know, Michael, this industry can, or these types of times, get behind our own, and that is certainly the case with Katie Cox. Yep, so we should. Not everybody has a little bit of money to donate to Katie, but if you do, even if it's just one less coffee for the week or one less beer, if you know a whole bunch of us do that, an extra $5, an extra $10 could help. For when's a really tough time. When people get sick, Greg, it's hard to pay the bills, to look after the family, to do all the normal things you do, and you don't want to be worrying about those when you're trying to recover. So I don't know Katie as well as you do, or people like Ricky May, or all of her friends, particularly in the South Island. But I know that everybody cares, and I know that everybody thinks she's a really cool chick. So just do something. And if you can do something, yeah, it's better than nothing. So I think it's great that the industry's getting behind this, Greg. I know you've organised, along with some other people, a huge day at Addington on Melbourne Cup Day. Perfect timing. But yes, to everybody listening to this show, when you see the bank account number, and it's in lots of different places, anything small is better than nothing. And all, and to Katie, for all of us who have been touched by cancer at one time in our lives, we're all thinking of you, even up here in the north, and I've spoken to plenty of people further afield too, Greg, who have been touched by this story and will be part of this battle alongside Katie. Yeah, absolutely, and I know the fund is already heading towards 6 figures as we speak, so thanks so much to everyone who's already made a donation. But we are having the Melbourne Cup Day luncheon at Addington Raceway. It falls beautifully with Kaikoura being 2 weeks out from the big day at Addington, so if you want to get involved in that, the tables are already sold out. We've sold about 10 or 12 already, so they will sell out. If you've got an auction item you want to donate to us, give us a yell at Addington or send me an email there. Here's Katie doing what she does best. Michael, winning the Welcome Stakes with It's Tough, really appropriately named horse who's at the moment with Colin and Julie DeFilippi. But I spoke to Katie on Saturday. She's very positive. She's a really smart girl, this girl. She's got a double degree in property valuation and management. She's as positive as you can be with this challenge. She can't believe that it's
been bestowed upon her at just the age of 33, but she's absolutely blown away by the support. Some of the donations that are coming in, get this, Michael, the Spirit of St. Louis team coming over for the IRT New Zealand Cup, 2% of any stake money he wins on the day. They want to auction that off. So Addington have come to the party there. They're going to give a couple of tickets to spectators and make it a Spirit of St. Louis experience. Swayze, both of those horses trialling tomorrow to get their ticket from a standing start. Trainer Jason Grimson giving a third of his trainer percentage to the cause as well. And the list goes on and on and on. Tim Vince, Levi, 10% of Levi he's given lifetime. So you get 10% of whatever Levi earns. That'll be part of the auction too. Majestic have come in with a $500 voucher. IRT with a trip from Auckland to Christchurch. So these are some of the things that are going to be available for you to bid on. You don't have to be at the luncheon, but obviously if you are, you'll get wrapped up in the auction experience, Michael. So it's going to be a great day. $1,200 a table it is. Like I say, a dozen of those are already gone. So if you do want to get together with some friends and support a great cause, this will be a great opportunity, and we'll have a great day, Michael, because Melbourne Cup Day, of course, is synonymous with racing, and so many people love to experience it.
Yeah, it'll be a fun day with a sad overtone, and well done to Tim and to Jason. They're great gestures to all the people who are going to make gestures with these fundraisers. It's really easy to think about it, then just skip on with your life, because we've all got lots of things to think about. But try not to do it here. Let's try and do the right thing. And as I said, I know everybody doesn't have disposable income, but a little bit is better than nothing at all. So looking forward to, hopefully, Greg, some good news somewhere along the line. And it was also one of the poignant moments yesterday. We'll see these later in the show. There were some around Akuta and Muscle Mountain. There was also some others around Time by the Hill. So it's yeah, looking forward to hopefully better news as summer rolls out in front of us.
Yeah, we'll get a chance to see that very good mare running into third. But let's go back to the feature from Ashburton yesterday. Here he is, the Cup favourite in those lime green colours of the late Ian Dobson. The New Zealand Bloodstock Air Freight Ashburton Flying Stakes, sitting outside Kango, self-assured off his wheel. Republican Party wider out. He's a sport going quite a nice race just in behind them. Pembroke Playboy trying to punch up the fence, but it was Olivia Thornley driving for Mark and Nathan Purdon and Akuta.
With the Spirit of Dobby right alongside wins the Flying Stakes, and beats home Republican Party, third Kango from Self-Assured.
Congratulations, Olivia. A lot of pressure comes with a drive on a favourite for not only this race but the Cup, but you knew what you had in front of you.
Oh, just the horsepower he has. You can put him anywhere in a race and he just relaxes wherever you put him, and the minute you move he just keeps trying.
What about the start? You were slightly slowly away, but that was part of the plan, wasn't it?
Yeah, going into the race, all that I mattered was that I stepped. It didn't matter how fast or slow, as long as I took off pace, and I'd be happy.
Once you got around to Park, he just drops a bit, doesn't he? He's just almost the perfect racehorse.
Oh, he's just an ultimate professional, and I'm just rapt to be able to get the win, especially with the passing of Dobby. It will mean a lot to him.
Yeah, and of course Mark and Nathan giving you the confidence and having the confidence to put you on this horse.
Oh, it's amazing. I'm so grateful to them for putting me on, and I'm just rapt to be able to repay the faith.
You've done the business. Congratulations, Liv.
Thanks, Greg.
Well, he just continues to progress.
Yeah, he does, Greg. He seems to be where he needs to be. That'll top him off. Today's run will top him off anyway.
All right. You probably haven't had a chance to digest it, but does Kaikoura remain on the radar, or is he almost there?
I think Kaikoura, he needs a race. He's still big and round, so it's certainly not going to hurt him anyway.
All right. What about the run today? He was slightly slowly away. He probably can ill afford to do that in the Cup, but were the instructions to Olivia just to get him away on an even keel? Yeah,
they work, Greg. He's, as I say, it is hard for Liv not knowing the horse as well as obviously Dad does. So, the main thing was to get away, and she done the right thing there and handled him super afterwards.
That's his second race in a row. He's been able to lob round to the Park position and just be too strong for them in the end. Is he getting to, and I'm not trying to compare him to Lazarus, but getting to that sort of status leading into a Cup? Yeah, well, he's this prep's probably been a little bit surprising to how much he has taken the next step. So, he's on his way there. He's not there yet, but he's on his way.
Yeah, he's gone super, Greg. We followed two nice horses, and he couldn't have gone any better than what he did on those sectionals. So yeah, he's got might be a wee surprise package sitting, cold in the cup, but no, Cran and Chrissy got him heading in the right direction.
Yeah, no, pretty happy with him. Got away good this time, and that's the things we're looking at. Gets better there, and he's doing his best work for us all the time. And get cup time, hopefully we get a good run and actually steal some money.
Would you go to Kaikoura?
I'll talk to our trainers and owners into it. We should be.
Yeah, he went a nice, honest race. He had a good trip and what have you, and just probably just blew out a little bit the last bit. But I think he's still on the way up. But another couple of weeks on him, and yeah, he shouldn't be far away. But no, pretty happy with him.
Yeah, so those nominations for the Alabar Kaikoura Cup, Michael, include the defending champion Kango, Akuta's there, Self-Assured's there, Krug's there, so you're absolutely right. They have been a big benefactor, Kaikoura, out of the free-for-all paces. You get where I'm coming from there with regards to Akuta. He's under $2 now, and that's what I was referring to around the Lazarus status, if you like, market-wise.
Yeah, and Old Town Road's coming down for it too, Greg.
Yeah.
He flies down this week, so that's the next piece of the puzzle. Just going back to that, first of all, well done to Olivia. She drove that exactly how Natalie Rasmussen would have driven it. Let them settle, go around, sit parked, and I'm just going to bully you, which is good when you're on the best horse in the race. And you might look at it from a New Zealand Cup point of view and you say to yourself, well, do you really want to be giving away that bigger start in the New Zealand Cup? You probably don't if Swayze's going to lead, because I think he's a pretty good leader. But when you go back through Akuta's career, all of his best performances, the big performances, in fact the ones that matter, have all been when he hasn't burnt early. Like he moved in the first 800 there, but when he's not bustled, not that first 400 burn. The Harness Jewels came from last, won by 10. When he won the Derby last year, settled back, came round, sat parked outside Republican Party, I think he won by 6. When he won the Auckland Cup and the Taylor Mile, he came from off the speed. Yesterday, he wasn't bustled on the first 400, came around, sat parked and won. The best version of this horse is when he doesn't work in the first early burn. Now, because he's so strong, Greg, he may be able to do that. But at least it's going to reconcile on punters' minds if I'm backing a horse who's going to be driven neutrally in the first 400 of the Cup. Does it concern me? Well, it might concern you sitting parked outside Swayze because Leap to Fame couldn't do that. But I actually think it's the best version of Akuta, and I think not pushing and shoving with him, because also, let's not forget, he doesn't have a lot of stablemates in the race. There's not going to be many there to hand up to him, Greg. Swayze's going to have just as much respect from the rivals, or fear, as Akuta is. When you go through that race yesterday, it's impossible to make a case for any of those horses beating him outside potentially Republican Party. I think Kango will go well because he seems happy to be home. I thought Self-Assured was very average. He's been average pre-Cup time before, including at Ashburton, and improved during the Cup meeting. So I'm not saying he won't do that, but it's only 3 weeks away. So I don't think he's going to beat Akuta, all things being equal. Republican Party, maybe. So then you say who can, if you're taking $1.80. Old Town Road has the speed to do it. I'm not saying he'll do it, but he has the speed to do it. Krug has beaten him before, so maybe Krug's in play. And then Swayze and Spirit of St. Louis, of which I like Swayze a lot more than Spirit of St. Louis. We'll see those two on Sunday at Menangle. We'll get a better guide of where they are. But very quickly, you start to say, well, maybe there's only 4 or 5 horses in this race who maximum can beat Akuta. So that's where the $1.80 starts coming into play, Greg. I think it's too short, and I think you'll probably get better. But if he's able to mooch away and be slow away at Kaikoura, Gregory, and come and beat them up like that again, and he wasn't last season, he didn't win at Kaikoura last season. Yeah. But if he can do that, maybe he'll get to $1.80. He's not going to start at $1.50, $1.60. He's not going to do that because there's so many horses in the race, and let's not forget, the pool is commingled with the Australians, and they'll come for Cam Hart, and they'll come for, for
Jack Callahan, who'll be driving.
Belinda McCarthy, trained horse.
Yep.
They'll come for a Grimson horse because they see these things win big races all the time. It's an interesting cup because it's perched at the moment, but for mine, really hard to see any of the horses who finished behind him yesterday beating Akuta with equal runs in the cup in 3 weeks.
Got some news around BD Joe. Spoke to Amanda Telfer. They've had a few niggling issues with him, but he's back on track and we will see him at Addington on the 3rd of November. But let's have a look at Beach Ball. He's trying to force his way into the Cup. This was him winning at Addington Raceway last Friday night. He did a bit of work, got round and took the lead and then dominated from about the 600 metre mark. So it was a good effort from him. Smithy's Terror, pretty good. Here's Herbie, not too bad, and behind them as well. And Homebush Lad getting back into something like his best form. But it was a good effort by Beach Ball. He's now the winner of 9 from 34. And he is just on the cusp of that IRT New Zealand Cup field. Ricky May doing the steering there. So he's a potential starter. Here's a guaranteed starter. Old Town Road finished 6th in the race last year. Got the galloping pacemaker here, Michael. Spoke to Zachary Butcher this afternoon. Said he felt really strong. 57.4 home. Have a look at him here. He makes his way to Kaikoura. And although it's always hard to get a gauge out of a workout like this, he looks in pretty good order.
Yeah, Kaikoura is going to be crucial for him, Greg, because he hasn't had an ideal preparation, but he's been able to stay home for longer, so that's good. If he comes out and he's one of the top 3 at Kaikoura, yes, he can win the Cup. If he doesn't, then you start saying, you know, how is he going to win the Cup? Maybe speed will allow him to be a factor. I'm not sure this is going to be a speed Cup. He's got a big win in him. I'm not sure if it's going to be this New Zealand Cup, but he's in the top 5 at least. Just going back to Beach Ball, Ricky May, the first driver to win on a standing start with Beach Ball. I think he sits in that clump of horses, Greg, along with Smithy's Terror, from about 8 to 18. And I don't think any of them will embarrass themselves in the Cup. And I don't think any of them would be out of place. I just think it's a case that which owners want to go. Because you say to yourself, do I want to be in the Cup? Or do I want to be in races I can win, which may not be the Cup? And usually in harness racing, Greg, the answer to that is, I want to be in the Cup. So it's coming together quite nicely. But yeah, Old Town Road, next Monday's crucial for him to see where he sits in that pecking order and in a very different type of racing. He hasn't had a lot of standing start racing, Greg, in the front line. And if any mental test is going to undo a horse, it'll be Kaikoura.
Yep, absolutely it will be. Looking forward to that on Monday. Here's Muscle Mountain though. This is what he does best, particularly in this race. First horse ever to have won 3 of these. The What the Hill Ashburton Trotters Sprint in front. Ben Hope looking to make a statement. Smoking Bandar outstanding in second. Oscar Bonavina probably wasn't as sharp as what he'd been in his previous 2, and coming off his wheel was Time Up the Hill. Really nice performance from her. She'll make her way to Kaikoura, but it was a big salute coming from Ben Hope with Muscle Mountain.
I'm sure that one will be for Ian Dobson. Second across Smokin' Bandar, 3rd Time Up the Hill.
Congratulations, Ben, on such an important week. That was a statement performance, which is exactly what you wanted to do.
Absolutely, Greg. He felt awesome and, yeah, back on track, put it that way.
You cruised to the front. You had Smokin' Bandar outside you, but when you let him slide, this big boy has such a big motor. He just extends and extends so comfortably, doesn't he?
Oh, absolutely, Greg. No, you know, sometimes I've driven him a bit pretty in front, but I think it's got to the stage where, you know, I believe he's the best horse and he needs to be driven like that. So, yeah, that's just what I felt.
Is that what it was about today? Just prove that he is in the zone? You guys wouldn't have talked about the Dominion because it's still a few weeks away, but just for you and the horse's confidence, he needed to do that.
Absolutely. You know, there's probably a few people out there with doubts about him, but, you know, he's obviously, I think he's gone to 2nd or 3rd favourite in the Dominion, but we know he's, we're going to have him tip-top on Dominion Day, and, yeah, I just wanted to prove to people that he still has to be respected.
Yeah, it's a big day for those colours, mate. I know this win will mean a lot to you, and a rare salute from you as well, so congratulations, mate.
Absolutely. No, I'm not one to do a salute, but, you know, I'm incredibly lucky to be driving this horse, and, you know, a huge part of that is to Ian, and, yeah, that salute was for him, and hopefully, yeah, we can do it on the big show day for him, you know. So, yeah, I'm incredibly grateful to Ian, and, you know, it's great to see him, you know, have such a great day.
Yep. Congratulations, mate. Well done.
Cheers. Thank you.
right back on track?
Yeah, he tried nice there and he went really good.
All right. Sitting outside Muscle Mountain's not normally a whole lot of fun, but he was very brave, and you needed that, not only for your confidence, but the horses as well.
Yeah, look, after the Aussie trip, you know, we needed to get round trotting, so ideally I didn't want to be part, but I just went with him and let him do his own thing, and, you know, he stuck on well.
This big track here at Ashburton suits. Addington clearly will as well. What's your pathway now into the Renwick Farms Dominion?
Yeah, so I think in a fortnight there's a stand at Addington, and then we'll go straight to the Dominion after that. So we'll skip Kaikoura and that, and back to Addington.
Well, that was more like her best.
Yes, she went very good today. She just got a bit flat-footed around the bend, but then we came to it again up the straight and she found the line really good.
Yeah, well, going forward towards the Dominion, she needed that sort of a run, didn't she?
Yeah, she did against those big guns, so proves that she's worth a shot in the Dominion.
Well, the leader bolted in. Did he let down as well as you'd hoped?
Yeah, well, he probably had to let go probably 250 metres earlier than what he normally does. So, yeah, he sprinted hard for that first furlong and then, yeah, sort of just got into fourth from there.
Well, he's the dominant favourite for that Renwick Farms Dominion, Michael, and he deserves to be off the back of that run.
Yeah, he deserved to be all along, really. I mean, I don't think anybody lost faith in the horse. I just think that he pulled up in his last start. So it was his fault. I just think that people thought, okay, how are we going to re-energise him? And these sliding blinds worked, and Ben drove him more aggressively, which is smart. And when the best horse in the race draws to lead, then that's how you should drive them. So I think it's a learning curve for both Ben and everybody involved with the horse. Like, he's not a baby anymore. He's been such a baby for such a long time, but he wasn't a baby on Roe Cup night, Greg. He lost 80 and he manned up. It was a big, gutsy performance, and that's the way they should drive him. And great for Ben because he gave that salute for Dobby, because Dobby did stand by Ben when a lot of people wouldn't have put him on the horse 3 years ago. They would have said, let's go find, let's get Ricky to drive the horse. Would have been really easy to do. But Dobby stood by him, so good on him for that, and Ben getting the chance to pay him back on that occasion and many other occasions. I think the Dominion's a two-horse race, as much as you love
they're $250 a pair now, Michael.
Yeah, you can almost
and you can get boosted, $350 if you want to back Muscle Mountain.
Well, that's very fair.
Yep.
I doubt he'll pay that on the day.
Agreed.
Bolt for Brilliance will go to the third.
Yes, he will. Spoke to Tony Hurley about that. He drove him yesterday and work said he's bang on.
They're just better than the other horses. Yep. Oscar's really good, but Oscar needs to be driven with one run, and mile racing's never going to suit Oscar because mile racing isn't about one run. But even at his best, I'm not sure Oscar's as good as Muscle Mountain. And at the moment, in my mind, Muscle Mountain's about a length better than Bolt for Brilliance. But Bolt for Brilliance is still coming back. He's had a year off, Greg. What I would say is, if they continue to go to the unruly with Muscle Mountain, which I presume they're going to do, then they might be giving Bolt for Brilliance 15 lengths. They might be. Bolt for Brilliance might draw the second line too. But if Bolt for Brilliance rolls around to the lead, and there's not many horses here who would try and get in your way, if you're Tony Hurley and Bolt for Brilliance, then that's going to be the story of the Dominion. Smoking Bandar, fantastic.
Really good.
It's going to win a good race somewhere. Maybe not against those two. And so time up the hill. I call it time by the hill before. Time up the hill for obviously.
They won't care.
Katie regularly drives the horse. I was really stoked to see that. Oscar, that's Oscar. That's who he is. Just with that, with Muscle Mountain, they now get a couple of weeks to let him down, Greg. And like a lot of horses, and this is going to happen in both gates, they get a chance to either race them or take them to the pool or the beach or work on their joints. And that a lot of the trainers like to make sure their joints are well looked after 2 weeks out from major race meetings. And I think that's what we're going to see. And that's one of the reasons I think you'll see a Cooter at Kaikoura, is that 2 weeks is exactly what people need, Greg, to do the maintenance on the good horses to have them at their best on the 14th or the 17th of November.
Certainly, the IRT South Bay Trotters Cup is a smallish type of field. Who we got in it? Out of My Way, Nazareth, Harold Smith, Time Up the Hills there, Midnight Dash and Artie by the Hills. So a little bit light on numbers, but still will be a good race. Speaking of seasides, what about Artie by the Seaside? Really good performance in the trail here. Gets out for Tim Williams. He doesn't wait for the passing lane. 2 minutes they went for the 1700. Home in 56.3, 27.7. They're all over the place, the Steve and Amanda Telfer runners here. Treacherous Gal storming home for Regan Todd and Craig Ferguson. Big run from her, but it was Artie by the Seaside's Neville Heat.
Artie by the Seaside won it. A ginormous run from Treacherous Gal to get second. She sprouted wings, but it was too late. Third across Sweet Diamond, fourth in Forever Me.
Timmy, really good performance from her today. You took the trail nice and early and didn't wait for the passing lane.
No, that's right, Greg. Obviously had the good draw today, so she came out nice and happy to trail once. There's a wee bit of pressure there, and credit to her, she relaxed beautifully and able to clear a bit of traffic at the top of the straight, and she's done it really nice. Yeah,
win number 7 in her career. She's putting together a really good horse's record, isn't she?
Yeah, she's super to drive. She's very versatile. Like you say, done a little bit at the early and fell asleep in the middle, so it makes my job really easy, and she's just a pleasure to sit behind.
Blue and white checkers everywhere. You're probably not quite aware that 3 out of the top 4 were the Stonewall team. That gives you guys a really strong hand going into the Neville final.
Yeah, which is good. Obviously, like you say, they're putting a lot into the industry over the last few years, so it's good to get these fillies qualified for such good races. But I'm sure it's going to be a great race once the blue and silver stars get out there too.
Congratulations, mate. Well done.
Thanks very much.
And you add in Kalua Flyby, and Michael, you add in this horse, Mantra Blue. Spoke to Zachary Butcher about the way she trialled. He said she was hitting the wheels here, and he really gave her a bit of a chirp up past the winning post to make her run. Here is Kalua Flyby actually dashing at her, but I'll get your comments around Artie by the Seaside, Mantra Blue. By the way, home in 56.2 here.
She's very good, and we don't know how good Mantra Blue. Kalua Flyby we know a fair bit more about. She was the one storming into second there. Artie by the Seaside might be stronger than Kalua Flyby. Kalua Flyby seems to be best saved for one run. The problem they all face is that if you've got 3 in the race or 4 in the race, often you can use those horses to help you to try and get a situation you find favourable. But that doesn't seem to work against Millwood Nike, because Millwood Nike seems to enjoy sitting parked and just relaxing and kicking home. So it's not as big an advantage. But if Millwood Nike's sitting parked and Mantra Blues on her back, gee, she's going to need to be something special. We know she is. So the pathway there, Greg, is where does she go next? They've got the option to go to an open class race, which they don't want to do, on November the 3rd. I don't think I'll do that. When you read those sectionals out for that race, 56 or 55 home and 26 or 27. That's pretty much what they'll do in the best mobile trial at the Cup trials. So Merlin won't be going in the Cup trial from a stand, he'll go in the mobile trial. There's always a good mobile trial on Cup trials night. And that's perfect for Millwood Nike. They can go as fast or as slow as they want. She'll be up against good horses who can at least stretch her lungs, but she doesn't have to be pushed around. So I think they'll still get her there even after she was withdrawn from yesterday and close to her peak fitness, even though it's a small setback. But there's just enough about the bunches around her, Greg, to suggest she's going to need to be at that peak to win the Neville final. Really good race, really interesting, and Mantra Blue's got that big X next to its name because we simply don't know how good she is.
Yep, totally agree with that. Sooner the better. It was a good day, wasn't it, for Barry Purdon and Scott Phelan. Really strong performance from him, sitting outside Who's Delight, Carrera Rapido on his back, and he just guts it out here. Sooner the better. It was the old firm getting the business done. The colours of Barry Purdon, training with Scott Phelan and Tony Herlihy grabbing a double. We'll see Cold Chisel a little bit later on, but this was Sooner the better, simply too good for them.
Coming again, Sooner the better, just in front, and Sooner the better won it. Sooner the better. Purdon Phelan again, beat home Triple G, third between Who's Delight and Carrera Rapido.
Tony winding back the clock and those colours getting victory in feature races. Gee, he had to be good today though, didn't he?
Yeah, lucky Barry and Scotty had him well.
Terrific performance from him. Talk me through the run you got.
Well, as you saw, I just sort of ended up parked, but he relaxed out there and just sat there, and they felt like they sprinted really hard from the top of the straight, and he's done it all right too. He's just a bit of a little character. He sort of doesn't do any more than he has to.
Typical Bettor's Delight, not big in stature, but knows exactly where the line is.
Yeah, exactly, and stuck to his guns there.
Any idea how many races you've won in those colours, Tony, with your 3,500 in the bank?
No, at least half that many.
Yeah, at least half that. No, beautiful, mate. Well, you've got yourself another feature here today, double as well, so congratulations.
Yeah, cheers, Greg, thanks.
It's Tony Hurley. Scott Phelan's just over here. Scott, the perfect result for you today, grabbing the double, but when you got that bloke sitting in the bike in those colours, I suppose you came here with a bit of confidence.
Yeah, no, yeah, a bit of confidence, but yeah, he's not bad, is he?
Yeah.
You know,
He's only a little fella, this guy, but he's always had a bit of ticker, and today the race didn't really pan out for him.
no, it didn't. No, and he's always shown a bit of ticker. I mean, I drove him a few times, and he certainly wasn't unlucky. So, you know, having Tony in the bike, it's a massive help. So, you know, big thanks to him.
Yeah, I know Barry said after those performances at Addington, he was big in praise of what you're doing. So, yeah, he's wrapped with what you're doing, and the horses are delivering for you.
Yeah, no, it's great for Barry and the owners. Hopefully Richard Cole got a few dollars.
Good on you, mate.
All right, cheers.
Yeah, we're number 4 for him in his career. Just leaving Ashburton there for the moment, Michael. Light numbers in terms of the aged pace there at Kaikoura on Monday. Anything goes and Bark go off 20 metres. Haybar Tender's an interesting contender there off the 10. Celtic Spirits there as well, but it's a little bit light in terms of what we've had in this race in the past.
As I said, there was always going to be winners or losers out of the 2-week gap to Addington, and I think the Kaikoura Cup will win, and a couple of these other races are going to lose because of that, Greg, and that's no one's fault.
Yep.
The horses can't go everywhere every week. Just on Sooner the Better, he's a little dude of a horse. It was quite funny watching, and we're going to see some more, Tony driving in Barry and now Scott's colours. It brought back memories from so long ago with so many of the great horses. It almost gave me a hangover, Greg, thinking about the old days. It was a different feel. It felt really cool. I couldn't watch that race without thinking about Sky Major winning the Harness Jewels at Ashburton when Tony drove him for the boys. So, lovely little horse. He's going to end up in open class because those good 3-year-olds these days always do. Probably wouldn't mind seeing him grow half a hand, Greg, once he gets to open class. But if they can teach him to step, and he seems a pretty sensible horse, he's going to be a very hard horse to catch him in some of those Franklin Cup, Kaikoura Cup races in the future, Sooner the Better, if in fact he doesn't end up a better horse than that altogether.
Yeah, of course, part owned by Richard Cole, and as we know, the flight is in vogue these days from Auckland to Christchurch. I got a chance to catch up with him on Legends Night at Addington last Friday night and talk a little bit more about that. Richard, first of all, congratulations getting that plane underway, and what a lead in to a feature night at Addington. All of the Harness Million winner on the plane. It couldn't have worked out better.
Look, a fantastic service for us to be able to get this up and going. Certainly it's been a demand that has been required for the industry for some time. Through the COVID process and everything else that's gone on, flying in general has been extremely compromised. So for that to get up and going, and for us to get that up and going prior to the start of that the other night is just brilliant, and the results that came out of it, I think it's just made this night so much better. I wasn't here, unfortunately. I was at Cross in Sydney enjoying the Everest, and of course we couldn't even view, which was a bit sad on. But talking to everybody that was here, they said it was just one of the best nights that they've seen for a long, long time. It was a brilliant night of racing.
So tell me about the service. I know this week there's another 11 coming down. Is it going to come down to obviously supply and then the demand for the possibility?
Greg, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Like anything, you know, it's got to be a viable option in terms of the numbers that we put on the plane. But the service is available on a weekly schedule. So as long as the numbers are there to support it, then obviously we'll fly. Of course, through this period, there's no question that that's when the higher demand is going to come about. And I guess the other option is that for horses that perhaps are heading to Australia out of the South Island, the option now is that they can fly out of Christchurch up to Auckland and then obviously catch the plane out of there. And we are a little bit hopeful that in not too distant future we might even be able to come out of Christchurch and get directly to a key city in Australia as well. So fingers crossed on that. We watch the space there.
A couple of Aussies booked to come across.
Yes.
Swayze, he's a bit of a star, and we know Spirit of St. Louis has done some amazing things in the Group 1. So having those two involved in your 4th IRT New Zealand Cup just adds so much to the build-up, doesn't it?
I just love the rivalry.
Yep.
It was fantastic with the guys that came over last year. It didn't play out for them as they were probably hoping, but just to have them across here to create that rivalry, and I think it's something we really want to build on. And I do believe that with the service that is now in play, with the ability to fly not only down but to fly back, just make life much more realistic for these guys to be able to bring their horses over, compete and get home, and still for the feature racing that's going on over there as well. So it's exciting, really exciting times.
And 120 years this race has been going. Yeah. I know your brand's become, it was iconic before it joined the New Zealand Cup, but it's just enhanced what is already a really strong brand, hasn't it?
The thing is for us, when we got involved with this, it was an opportune moment for us really. The prize sponsor weren't able to perhaps fulfill their commitments as they were wanted. We stepped into the brink, and for us it's really just put us on another level. Thrilled to be involved. I love coming down here. It's, in some regards I feel more at home down here sometimes than in my own home as far as the racing is concerned, and it's just a thrill for us from a brand perspective to be part of it and to take the day in. I think it's one of the biggest excitements for me, and last year probably for the first time I really embraced and enjoyed the day, whereas it can be a little bit nerve-wracking, but it was fantastic, it really was. So we certainly look forward to the 120th running. Having the Australians across here will add that dimension, and we're up for a great day.
Magic Monday continued at Ashburton. Here is Isolate. Yes, going into this race, one of our best 3-year-old races, the Newman Tyres Hamiltonian, had not been won by Phil Williamson. That all changed on Monday afternoon. Massive run confessional in front. Aroha Kenny trying to go with him, but it was this girl, out of Escapee, a previous winner of the race, getting the job done.
Kenny, but a top filly. Isolate won the Hamiltonian.
Race that had Eludia, but no more.
No, it's always nice to win them nice races, and the Hamo's got a bit of a ring to it, hasn't it? And they're good races to win, so I'm thrilled to win it.
Yeah, first and third. Let's talk about her though. When she loomed about the 250 metre mark, you just knew she was going to finish it off.
Yeah, she's got that bit of motor that the good ones have, and yeah, we always thought that she could be something, and I think she's showing that she's pretty nice.
All right. Brilliant win today. Had you mapped out a pathway to some bigger fish come December?
Yeah, well, we're heading there, but whether we do much in between, possibly not, because she's such a big girl that we just got to look after her, and she could develop into a pretty good horse.
Yeah, great stuff, mate.
Thanks very much.
Nate, your dad hadn't won one of these, so pretty special to grab one with this girl.
Absolutely, yeah, no, it's a race, obviously Dad's targeted with 3-year-olds in the past, so to finally win it's great, yeah.
What about the run you got, and when you loomed up, she just looks to have so much power. Talk me through that.
Yeah, absolutely, couldn't have worked out much better. She was just wanting to lug in stages, and with that one horse galloping in the score up, I ended up getting a lovely sort of dragon on the fence and following probably the 4 right horses, so it worked out good, and yeah, she loomed with plenty of power and won it pretty convincingly, really.
Gary Clark said, gee, put a lot of money into this game. He deserves to get another good one.
Absolutely he does, and no, exactly, it's reward paying off for Gary. He's put, as you say, a lot of money in, so I'm sure he'll be thrilled, and yeah, hopefully it's not the last big win she can have.
Good on you, Nate. Well done.
Thank you.
Just her 5th start, Michael. She's into $6.50, third favourite for the Derby. Massive confessional, $3.50. Disappointing gold bullion goes out to $4.20. This is the New Zealand Derby market. There's a lot to like about her, though. She's big, she's strong, she's only going to get better.
She's a prime example, Greg, of a horse who's benefited by the change of season and horses coming into the back end of the year, still 3-year-olds, because she wasn't mature enough to do that when they would have been running the Derby or would have been running the Oaks. I just love her. She looks like a trotter should look. Interesting race. It was quite strange. There was a lot of racing at Ashburton where I think the horse is up against the inside, or particularly down the inside during the home straight. seemed to underperform, and horses who got to the middle of the track seemed to find a fast lane. I'm not saying it was a fast lane, just the way the racing panned out for the day. But she, on that, Greg, if you'd never seen these horses before, you'd say, well, Isolate and Confessional are the best two of this bunch, and the others can't beat them. That's not true. But that's what you'd say if you'd seen it. No idea what happened to Gold Ball. You've got no idea. It's clearly
Either's Bob.
Yeah, okay, well, that's good. If Bob and I can't work it out, it's completely
No, he was going to take a blood and all that sort of stuff, but yeah, he just felt maybe the early burn, but outside of that, he had no real excuse.
Look, it wasn't the only one all day, Greg. It wasn't a day for the leaders per se in many of the best races outside Muscle Mountain. So I thought Ara Hakini was okay, but I think Phil's going to need to rethink because he thought Ara Hakini was his best
chance. Yeah.
But that's what this new calendar year does to us. It means we're seeing a lot of improvement in some horses at the back end of the year. We're going to see a couple of 2-year-olds soon in Cold Chisel and Treacherous Love who were good at the start of the year. And we're seeing with the juvenile paces, it's been pretty consistent over the year, Greg. But with the Trotters, I think it's a far bigger opportunity for change, as we saw last year with Nazareth winning the Derby, because confidence in their gait and strength over their hindquarters is so important. This horse seems to be on the upward curve at exactly the right time. I think Confessional will win the Trotting Derby, though.
Yep, I'm with you on that. Here is Cold Chisel. You just mentioned him. Outside the leader here, he got the trail in the Harness Million and was able to deliver. He had to sit outside Vesem here. This was a really good performance, very brave performance in the colours of Barry Purdon and Scott Phelan. Here's Matt Cross bringing them home, and then we'll hear from the winning connections.
Vesem stride for stride running on Renegade, but Cold Chisel does best again. Cold Chisel won it by a head on Vesem, third and Renegade from Major Hop, then Light Me Up. We walk by...
Congratulations, Tony. Gee, that was some performance because he did some work down the back.
Yeah, he did, yeah. Zachary said he can do a bit of work.
Yeah, well, I'm picking that Zach will be sitting on there thinking, that bloke's not getting my seat. He's only warming it today, but that proved that his Millions win was no fluke.
Oh, no, he's been a nice horse right through, and yeah, he's got stronger too, from what I've been told, and he certainly feels strong and nice and got the line really good, really.
You got to the top of the straight, Vesem in front of you, and we know he's already very well performed, so were you always confident you had his measure?
Yeah, well, I thought unless he comes to the end of it or something, he felt really strong around the bend and went up to Vesem really quite nicely, really.
Get a drive behind Self Assured, a horse that you've driven before and drove in the Cup, of course. He looks at another good chance and appears to be progressing nicely.
Yeah, I think Mark's more happier with him than he was, and but saying that's a very good field.
Yeah, it certainly is. Congratulations, Tony.
Thank you very much, Greg.
That just proves, Scotty, that the Millions win was no fluke.
No, definitely. Like he's improved since the run, so it was pretty good to go and sit outside Vesem. He's a good horse, so very wrapped for Dean and everyone involved.
All right. What's the pathway now? Is that it? Do we see him in a Cup trial, maybe?
Oh, we'll see how he comes through it. Still 3 weeks to go to the big final, so he doesn't really take too much, so he could go in without a trial, but we'll just see how he comes through.
All right. Nice work, mate. Well done.
No worries. Thanks, Greg.
Michael, excellent Cold Chisel there. Vesem, a pass mark. Really strong performance from Renegade. What did you make of it going into the Group 1 final on Cup Day?
I love Cold Chisel, Greg. When I grew up in Greymouth, I was a massive Cold Chisel fan. We used to drive around in our cars because there was nothing else to do and listen to Cold Chisel and then a little bit of Bon Jovi as we got slightly older, then Bruce Springsteen. But I genuinely love Cold Chisel. So... and I met Jimmy Barnes on a couple of occasions, and he's a really cool guy. No, honestly, great guy. So to see a horse named after such a great band, because if you named a horse after Cold Chisel and it was useless, I would then end up hating Dean Shannon, who named the horse, or whoever named the horse once he bought it. But this is good news. I do not need to hate anybody, because Cold Chisel's a very good horse. So is Vesem. Vesem's going to have a headache if they keep driving him like that. He's had 3 hard runs in the last 3 starts. If he can cop that, he might end up the best of the Vincents, but it's not a fun way to race. He's had 3 real brutal ones, and I thought the third horse was good. But I think some of these horses, Greg, are starting to get tired, or are going to get tired pretty quickly, because there's some good horses in this crop, but there's no standout, so no one's having easy runs. Here's the Fillies race, Greg, and again, we're seeing a horse who was able to win on the big stage at Alexandra Park in March able to bring that form south in Treacherous Love, Greg. Bolted in, great drive by Ricky May for the Brent Mangos trained horse. Let's get Ricky's thoughts on what he thought of his first drive on the big girl.
Congratulations, Ricky. A really dominant position to be in front here today, and has been simply too strong for them.
Yeah, no, she ran really well. Hayden thought she might have needed a run, but Mango told me to drive pretty positive, so I did, yeah.
Yeah, the blind's on today. Probably the key, just to get her to concentrate a bit more.
Yeah, she felt pretty good even before I pulled them down, to be fair. No, I think she's done a really good job.
Look, she's already proved she's capable at Group 1 level, having won that earlier in the year. The way she went today, going forward into some serious races, show day being the biggest of them all, does she give you the feel that she can win another one?
Yeah, well, definitely on that run, I'd say, but I mean, you know, you don't know, do you? Jaws are a big thing. Got a lot of gate space, that sort of puts you in the race, doesn't it?
Ricky, you've got a beautiful day here today. There was a bit more breeze early on, actually, but it seems to have settled down, so they look to be bouncing off the track.
Yeah, no, I'd say they've run pretty quick all day from now on, to be fair.
Nice to get a win for Brent Mangos. Congratulations to you, mate.
Yeah, no, love to do it for Brent, actually. Yeah, it's great.
56.5, 26.5. Yeah, she looks the real deal. I keep getting confused, Michael. I thought the Delightful Lady, I don't know why it was a Group 1, but it's a Group 2. But anyway, she's a group race performer, and on that performance, she'll be another one again.
Yesterday when you were on air, Greg, and I was going to send you a text abusing you, or even post it on Twitter.
That would have been lovely.
I decided it was your first time back on trackside. I shouldn't be. I should just let you find your feet.
Nice.
Don't try and abuse you.
Yes. Thank you.
It's remarkable, really. The horses who won the Group 1 or the Group 2 that night, the Cardigan Bay and the Delightful Lady, are still holding that form. It happened last season too, with Merlin. So that form for the pacers seems to hold over the entire year. Maybe it's because to be a really good 2-year-old pacer, you need to be a complete natural. They posted the time long for that race, by the way, too, on the HRNZ website. It was a 1:55 mile rate. That's good for all involved. Very good filly, Greg. There's some pretty good horses floating around this crop. Who the best of them is, I do not know, and it might simply come down to whose joints and whose body holds together, but clearly hers is holding together, Greg, and it would be an awfully long time since we've had so many different North Island stables winning races. That comes down to the flights, no doubt it's helped, also comes down to the spread of the sales and the support of people supporting different traders. But when you think Maddie White, Stephen Reed, obviously Mango, Barry and Scotty having an enormous run at the moment, and plenty of others, hopefully John Dickey to join in shortly, Greg, can only be good for harness racing. Competitive North Island, South Island racing and the money being spread right across a whole bunch of stables is good. And one of those stables, of course, is Team Telfer. Greg, while sharing is caring, Artie's Express was in no mood for that yesterday. Let's look. You spoke to Amanda yesterday. I'll throw to this. Here she is, absolutely beating up on them in 152. Imagine what she's going to do one day when she gets to Menangle. She'll go sub 150. Amanda Telfer, of course, is in the partnership. Here's what she had to say about the big deal.
Beat Life's the Beach, Dance Till Dawn.
Wow.
Yeah, she was awesome.
What were you thinking in the first half of the race? She's off the track, having to move around them, and when Timmy pressed the go button about the 500 metre mark, man, she powered up.
Yeah, she did. I probably wasn't concerned about her being 4 wide. Look, she's just an awesome mare. Yeah, what else can you say?
She's big, she's strong. She won't be in the IRT New Zealand Cup, but you guys have got some lofty plans for her going forward, haven't you?
Yeah, look, we have. We had a race picked out for a show day, but now they've capped it, and it looks like she can't go in it. So we're just going to have to sit back now and decide where we go with her.
Does that therefore mean that a race like the New Zealand Free-for-All comes on the radar?
Oh, look, it does. You know, it's not beyond her. Like, you probably now wish that if we knew this earlier that we would have left her in the Cup. But up until the last couple of days, the race was an open race, and now it's not, yeah.
All right, that's a slight disappointment. What isn't is what she's done here today. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I was just checking her ears there, Tim, to make sure those plugs didn't come out. 52 mile rate, and she's done all that work.
Yeah, it was pretty ugly early, but I just went with her, and she was pretty comfortable and got into a good routine, and we had a helmet to follow, so that gave me a little bit of confidence. And yeah, she was big and strong when she was able to find the markers.
Must be an awesome feeling when you let her down from the 500 and she gapped a pretty handy field of mares here.
Yeah, look, it's definitely one that gets you out of bed in the morning. She's been unfortunate. She's had a little bit of unsoundness over the last sort of 12, 18 months. So, yeah, to get her here on the big track today, and the way the track is, it was something they were pretty keen to try and get a good time. Obviously, she's going to make a nice mum one day, hopefully not anytime soon. But, yeah, nice to tick it off the box for the owners, get a good time under her belt.
Yep, well, she certainly did that. Congratulations, mate.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, so awesome performance there by Artie's Express. Let's leave Ashburton there, Michael, go across the ditch with Garrards, and you can sum up some of these for us. The Geelong Cup, of course, taken out by MacDan, continuing on his winning way, win 24 in his career. And yeah, he's a pretty smart animal, isn't he, with Greg Sugars in the bike.
He just suits Australian racing, Greg. He never really adapted when he came across here for the Race by Grins last year, but look, when you get away from, the really tough stuff, the really top racing, and he's gone some good races and the best races, but when you get away from it, gate speed's crucial in Australia, and if you can get to the front in these type of races, you're going to win a lot more of them than you're going to lose them. So, yep, he's a pretty good type of a horse at that level. Other good races over there, well, Mark Da Vinci is a horse who a lot of people here would remember. He's a very good horse. He's been in a rich vein of form. He sort of went out of form for a while, but he's absolutely picked up in the last couple of starts. That's him in the middle of the screen in the Peter Hansen colours. And yeah, he comes on well. Again, though, these are one of those free-for-alls. Braveview Kelly, by the way, slightly luckless in the fourth. One of those free-for-alls, Greg, where when you take the top two, because they spread them around the different states in Australia, when you take the top two out of each state, the free-for-alls actually aren't very strong. Whereas in New Zealand, of course, there's only two states, North Island, South Island, so the better horses meet each other more often. So often when you're off carnival, this week, for example, you're going to see a very strong free-for-all with Swayze and Spirit of St. Louis. But the off-carnival free-for-alls, Greg, for all the states can sometimes bring around form that doesn't hold up on the bigger stage.
As we go to our final break, a Kiwi performer across the Tasman, Love Me Too. Of course, the Derby winner, here he is in a Derby heat with Dylan Ferguson in the bike at Maryborough, and he wins by a big space. In fact, I think it was more than 30 metres.
Derby, it's a blitz job here. He's racing right away. Impressive win. And look out next week. The Kiwi, Love Me Too, takes out the first heat of the Derby untouched.
In your home straight, in your box seat, where can you go harness racing this week in New Zealand? Big week it is. Winton Thursday, 10 races there, 2:28 the start time, the first of those. Friday, we've got a double header. We got a Methven for their program, mid-afternoon. Should be a good day out there at the Mount Harding and Cambridge race on Friday night. Their first underway at 5:49. Kaikoura, first of 2 days. They've got their Fast 10 meeting, so quick fire. 3:35 the first of those. And then, of course, their big day on Monday. 10 races, including the Alabar Kaikoura Cup at 60,000. The Sales Race 50 and the IRT South Bay Trotters Cup at $40,000. Right, what else can you get involved in? Well, we have the Golf Day coming up at Templeton on the Monday of Cup Week. I think there's 2 holes left if you want to sponsor there, $250 plus GST. You can get a hold of me at our regular box seat email address, boxseatnz@gmail.com. $250 if you just want to put a team in, $200. Looking forward to that as per the norm. We're also building really nicely towards Grand Prix Day, Sunday the 10th of December, and with Entain and the Commodore, your chance. We've had hundreds, and I say hundreds of entries for this competition. Here's your chance this week. Who won last year's Kaikoura Cup? He's big. He's trained by Anna Donnelly and David Butcher drives him. boxseatnz@gmail.com. 1 entry per person per week. Most of you have stuck to that. I've had to chuck a couple out. You get the accommodation at the Commodore, including breakfast. You get the prize up to $5,000. We'll fly you anywhere in New Zealand. You and 3 mates. Will be a massive day. Michael, we're getting a lot of entries for that. Why wouldn't we? 8 Group 1s on one day. Why wouldn't you want to be part of it, particularly if we're paying?
It was a beauty last year at Grand Prix Day. I think it really works. And I think the back end of the season now, Greg, is finding its way. Some trainers are still confused about what races are where. But I think we've got so much to look forward to. I'm looking forward to Kaikoura on Monday, and we'll try and keep you updated. Also, hrnz.co.nz. They'll have a special lift out for Kaikoura this week, and they have some massive things planned for the next 3 or 4 weeks ahead, and of course into the Grand Prix, Greg. So while we can't have a box set every day, there'll be previews or hard news on that website if you need a bit more of a fix.
Yep, and don't forget about the Katie Cox appeal. Go to HRNZ, all the details there if you want to make a donation. And if you want to be part of the Melbourne Cup Day luncheon at Addington Raceway, you can get a hold of me at Addington Raceway and we'll certainly find you a spot there. Michael, been a big week in harness, another big one ahead. You and I will be back in 7 days' time. The Box Seat, brought to you by our stable of sponsors. Harness Link, for all your worldwide harness racing coverage. Brecken Farms, New Zealand Bloodstock Standardbred. IRT, it's your horse and our passion. Garrard's Horse and Hound. Lincoln Farms, Renwick Farms, Harness Racing New Zealand. The clubs, Auckland, Cambridge, Addington and Ashburton, and the TAB.